Hey, what's up, guys? Everything great today? Abu Zayd here, full stack software developer and a British accent called Accenture. Some time back, a friend reached out to me telling me about an opening in his estate in Lekki, Nigeria. And something, when he told me about the requirement and all of that, I wasn't really interested. I will tell you why I wasn't interested later on. Then, we let go of it. Then after a while, he would, reach out again and say this and that. And then I never lose ground, and I had to. I was just warding it off. Then I think for the last time, my friend reached out to me and said, "Oh, the interview held today, and people came from even outside Lagos State to apply, and I." Hey, I wish you were there today. I wish you came around on this day. You know, if you could just show up, okay. And I think he said something that quite hits me, and I listened. I was convinced, and I felt okay. I'm coming around. I've forgotten actually what he said in particular. Then when I got there, the very day, and it was in Ramadan, and I think I had my iftar over there. Then he had told them about me that he's got a friend who's coming around, and these guys, they're actually least Muslims. They need the right hand for the job. It doesn't matter. They want to interview as many people as possible, and I think they've put this thing out there on social media platforms, like that, about this opening. Then when I got there, it was received, and they said, "Okay, tomorrow morning we would have the interview." Then next morning came. I found myself in the midst of you know some top Nigerian officials, someone who now is now at Jai's Bank. I think he's the head of the IT section, something like that. And other actually, it's a community of elite Nigerians, people who have worked overseas before coming back to Nigeria. However, what actually happened was that I knew my strength, and that's the accent. And I tried this when they ask me questions. I try to be at the best of my oratory and in my, make good use, put my accent to good ears. And what actually happened? From we went from they asking me questions. There are about 4 or 5 of them I can clearly remember, or maybe 4 of them. They're about asking me questions, not a single interviewer. And these are top professionals, and they would have know how to scrutinize a person to see if he's the right man for the job. Now, even just a single person amongst them, you may find it difficult to to make it through. However, now we're talking about a couple of them, heads of banks, heads of it's head of an Islamic bank, and like that, people like that. Then at the end of the day, we went from the phase of asking questions, which got talking about the salary. It's sometime years back now, maybe a good number of years, a number of years back, and I think it asked them to pay me 150K, which to me was a huge amount at the time, and so we agreed, and at the end of the day, and I got started with. If they told me if I end up being the right the choice, and they'll get back to me, something like that. Then maybe 2 days after, I got an email saying congratulations and all of that, you got the job and blah blah blah. You should, and it's something that it came with the if fully furnished apartment, apart from the salary, and so I felt on top of the world at the time. uh, okay, now I told you initially that I wasn't interested in that offer at the beginning. What's the reason? The reason was that there's a certificate. There's a minimum. The job, the offer came at a requirement of at the minimum requirement of a degree. A degree. Okay, and I personally, I'm not a fan of going to uni or getting a degree. I'm not a fan of that, and I'm comfortable with that. And so I felt whenever I would see something like this, well, it's your choice. Okay, I'm not interested in what you've got to offer or anything like that. However, what actually played out was that because the way I engaged them, my accent, the way I spoke, and all of that, certificate, which scored the U10, was all those things were forgotten. Okay, they let go of all those things. They were overwhelmed, and they couldn't but to offer me the job. However, there was a guy that I heard. My friend told me the guy came. He's got a degree in engineering, computer science. He's got another degree in blah 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 like that. Maybe he's got 2 degrees. And he said the guy was very proficient and all of that. And you know, at the end of the day, he didn't get the job. They didn't give him the job. They said people came out from outside Lagos to come for the interview, and I only had an afterthought, or let's say an appendage interview, and I was the one who got the job. So you could see the power of communication, the power of speaking clinical British accent or any native English accent. If you could strive to learn it, it will put you ahead thousands of people. Okay, you might not actually understand what actually happened. You're getting a job in the midst of elite people who are certificate. What they have in their heads is that you have to go to school, go to uni. Some of their kids are in the UK. Some of them even studied in the UK. Now they are forced to hire a guy who never went to uni. You should know the power of communication, the power of being able to speak amazingly well, exactly like a native speaker. Okay, I hope you do something about your communication today.